everybody. Today I'm going to try something new and different. Instead of reading a book, I'm going to show you an activity which hopefully you can share with your grown-ups, and maybe you'll be able to work on something like this at home. Today we're going to do science trays. You'll remember science trays from the Blue Room. They're hugely popular, and they do not have to be made up of these exact materials, but these are some examples of what might be on a science tray. Salt, cornstarch, baking soda. This container has vinegar in it, and this is water. There's a little bit of food coloring. I happen to have a little squeezy pipette. You may have an eyedropper or something, but that's not key necessarily to successful science trays. And then a bunch of different containers and at least one spoon. So I got all these containers out of my pantry, and there are of course millions of other things you could add as well. But when we do science trays at school, we put the ingredients, whoops, let's get that open. Okay, we'll have to get that open in a minute. We put the ingredients into the containers. So we've got one with cornstarch. And before I forget, let me recommend this activity is for you all. I would recommend that this activity happen outside. It does have the potential to be very messy. So we've got some cornstarch, some baking soda, and I don't know that I'm going to be able to get the salt open, but we've got some vinegar, which I think I'm just going to leave right there. And often when I am doing science trays, because the vinegar and the water look exactly the same, I will put some color in the vinegar, which helps kids to remember which one is which. So the colorful one is the vinegar, and the clear one is the water. So once you have all your ingredients, sometimes the kids will say to me, "What do I do?" And I say, "Whatever you want." So you just begin mixing your materials and see what happens. So you might put some cornstarch, and some water together. Stir it around. You can actually make a kind of goopy slime that's really interesting to feel with this, with cornstarch and water. And then if you wanted it to have some color, you could add a drop or two of color. Stir it up, watch it all mix. First it makes clumps, and then those clumps begin to ooze. It's totally okay to touch this with your hands. Go ahead and see what it feels like. And another interesting thing is that if you make some of this and then you leave it outside for a day or two in the sun, it's going to change, and you can check on it each day. And each day you'll see how it's changed and how it's different, and you can do new things with it. So that is one thing you might do. Another thing you might do, and this one is usually the most popular, is to take some baking soda, put it in a container, and then add a little bit of vinegar and see what happens. Oh, look at that. That's making a chemical reaction, creating carbon dioxide bubbles. And that is a lot of fun to watch and see. And you can listen to it. It makes a great bubbling noise. And we can do it again. Sometimes it's fun, if you're somewhere where you can make a mess, to make it overflow. Woo! So, those are some of the fun things you can do with a science tray. We often also add ice to science trays to just see how that changes things. It's really fun to see what salt will do when you sprinkle it on ice. So I hope everybody will think about doing some science trays. Most of these ingredients are things you have at home: baking soda, vinegar. You can use apple cider vinegar. It really doesn't matter what kind of vinegar it is. This is just straight up plain vinegar. So anyway, if you do decide to do a science tray, I hope that you will either describe what it was like and put that on our Padlet page, or take a picture of your science tray and put that on our Padlet page. All right, see you guys next time.